mods that ruin the Toyota Tacoma experience. Ask me how I know. Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to RobMotive. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider smashing that subscribe button right now. So let's talk about bad mods that ruin the Toyota Tacoma experience. You know, the power, the feel, the comfort, all that good stuff. And you know, I have a lot of experience in this area. I started modding with my 2018 Toyota Tacoma and have carried through with my 2020. So I'm speaking from experience. Number one, let's talk about wheels and tires. You know, on my 2018, I wanted big wheels and big tires. So I put 20-inch wheels and 20-inch tires on there, as well as the bigger, wider mud tires, right? Now what that meant is I had a short sidewall, not a lot of distance between the wheel and the top of the tire. That meant that I felt everything, all of the bumps and even rocks transmitted through the tires and the wheels right into the cab, right to me. It was horribly uncomfortable. Not to mention the weight that it added to the truck. You know, the truck has to pull all that weight around, right? And it surely could be felt. It wasn't automatic, by the way, and made it feel even more gutless than it really was. In my opinion, if you're looking to go with different wheels and different tires, don't exceed 17-inch. That will give you a good distance in the tread wall, and the tires will absorb all of those bumps and stones and cracks and whatever you're going over on the road. Next up, aftermarket exhausts. You know, I've talked a few times about exhausts on this channel, and I've always sought to have a V8 sound in my Tacoma, right? Kind of dumb because I know it is a V6. You're not going to get V8 sound out of a V6. But nonetheless, I've done it. I've had MBRP, I've had some kind of Dyna something, a couple others I think maybe, and I gotta say, I was never happy. I always had a drone. And it did indeed ruin the driving experience for me on longer distance trips. Loved it just kicking around town and stuff because you got more sound. On startup, you got more sound. But when you're driving for, I don't know, half an hour, maybe more, and you're listening to that exhaust constantly in the background, that drone, it drives you nuts, especially when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody and you find that you're having to speak louder because they can't hear you. Number three, improperly installed roof rack. You know, I speak about this one because I just put a roof rack on my truck recently. Now, this doesn't matter which roof rack you go with. Mine happens to be OEM. There are many others out there. It's how you put it on. Underneath the rubber strips on the truck, there are threaded holes. That's what you screw into to hold the roof rack on, any roof rack. The problem is those are sealed. When you pull off that rubber stripping, underneath there is a little taped section that covers up those holes to keep the water out. So once you break that seal and you screw into it, you've got to make sure that you seal that somehow or you're going to get a very unpleasant surprise. You know, in a rainstorm, you might be driving down the road and feel some drops on your head or something. Or even worse, when you look at the headliner, you might see some water stains in there, and you certainly don't want that, particularly on a brand new truck. You know, like mine, it's a 2020, doesn't have a ton of miles. The last thing I want is to ruin the interior with water leaks. So make sure that when you're doing that mod that you pay due diligence to water protection. You know, on mine when I did it, and there's a video up on the channel on the install, but I used silicone, put around all the holes, even though it comes with little rubber washers to seal things up. I went the extra mile. You know, a little tube of silicone caulk costs next to nothing. A headliner and maybe the labor to have it replaced is a heck of a lot more. Number four, cheap mods. You know, you get what you pay for, right? I know there's a lot of stuff out there. There are tons of knockoff mods that come from overseas, mods that just aren't up to the standards of some that you can get either through Toyota itself in this case, or other reputable suppliers. Make sure that you're buying mods that are quality. Because even if you get a good deal, let's say for instance, something electrical. You know, you get a great deal like on a new radio, maybe, I don't know, you put it in, and then the thing shorts out, catches your Tacoma on fire, and burns it to the ground. Did you really save a lot of money by going with the cheapo knockoff? Yeah, probably not. Make sure that you get good quality mods. You get what you pay for. Next up in this tour of bad mods that can ruin your Toyota Tacoma experience, too many accents. You know, I'm guilty of this myself on my 2018 Tacoma. You know, I was fresh and I was new, just starting out and wanting to get my hands dirty with as many mods as I could. So I started putting all these accents all over the interior. And one day I was looking at it, they were carbon fiber, by the way, which I really like. But one day I was looking at the interior and I'm like, you know, this has gotten out of hand. This is kind of gaudy. It's too much. So I thought I would take them off. Oh, big mistake. You know, the adhesive that's used, I mean, this company that makes them is a high quality company and they don't put cheap stuff on their parts. So I went to pull them off, and of course the adhesive, number one, it didn't want to come off, either off of the application itself, the part, or what I had stuck it to. So it was starting to make a mess, and I finally decided I'm not taking it off. I got to leave it on and live with it. Fortunately, the 2020 came along. I traded that truck off, and somebody else got it that obviously liked all the stuff in the inside, or I assume they would not have bought it. By the way, it's all personal preference. I mean, if you like a ton of stuff on the inside, then by all means do it. It's your truck. We're going to throw in a bonus here, a number 6, Unvetted Shops for installation. If you can't do it yourself and you've got to take it somewhere else, make sure you vet the shop that you're going to, especially if it's on something major like a lift. Now, what I'm talking about there is the shop clean when you walk in. You know, that ought to give you some kind of clue as to what kind of care they're going to take care of your truck with, you know? Do they have references? Have they done the work before? And what did the other people think of it? Did they do a good job? Do they seem knowledgeable? Do they know what they're talking about? You know, it's always worse, I think, when you go in, unless you're an expert, and you're talking to people that are going to do the work for you, and you know more than they do. That's never a good sign. If they're doing the install, they should be the expert. Make sure they know what they're talking about. Lastly, what's their schedule like? You know, I mean, are they able to book you that day? That's probably not good because that means they don't have a lot of backlog. You want them to be busy. But on the flip side, you don't want it to take forever either. You want to get in, right? And along with that, how long is it going to take them to do this mod? They should be able to give you a realistic time. If they tell you it's 4 hours, it shouldn't be 2 days. And that's something that you can ask their references. How long did it take as compared to what they said it would? Are they bumping other people in front of you? Never hurts to ask. Anyway, these are just a few bad mods that can ruin your Toyota Tacoma experience. Everything from what you spend, your wallet, to the comfort and enjoyment that you get from driving the truck. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've ever experienced any of these things yourself. I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive Tundra, all about my quest, my hunt for the upcoming redesigned Toyota Tundra. And RobMotive JT, all about my experiences with the 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.